Open the Scituate Board of Health meeting, Selectmen's Hearing Room, Monday, April 8th, 2013. Take a motion
To accept the agenda.
No.
Here we go.
Modify it?
We need to amend the agenda. The septic variance hearing in Title V is canceled because the engineer has revised the plan and the variance is no longer necessary.
So it's just, it's just an approval by you?
Yes. And it's for 2 Murphy's Lane, not 219.
Okay, so that was our 7:10 PM hearing. And seeing how we have nothing for 15 minutes till 7:20, we can go to any
Well, there's
old business.
I guess you have either copies or received the correspondence versus from Mr. Thompson, and some response by Mr. Dean and Mr. Farnell about various testing and weather conditions and wind speeds.
Did we get Mr. Thompson's email? I don't remember seeing it, but I'm not saying we didn't get it.
Well, if you haven't, I'll email it to you.
Okay, just to give it context.
Yeah, he included some specs from his consultant about weather and Mr. Dean and Environmental responded and clarified some information. And just as a by the way, as I'm sitting waiting for my plane to back from Florida, I hear my name called from the guy across the aisle, and I look up, and it's Dave Darby.
No way, all the way down to Florida?
Well, what day
That's
were
cool.
you flying back?
Saturday.
Saturday.
That's
Oh, he
okay.
said, and he mentioned that he was getting back for town meeting, and I said I'd see him there.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. Never know when you run into somebody. That's funny.
Work is never over.
Yeah, well, I hope he respected you on that, but.
Oh, yeah.
That's all good.
It was fun.
I always say out of context, you run into someone somewhere strange you might not recognize when you say, geez, I usually see you down
And
the
I
harbor or
looked over and I
something.
go, hi,
How
Dave.
you doing here?
Who'd have thought?
That's funny.
Did the Shell, what was the Shell, what was the gas station going to get back to us with, anything? Just a list of employees, or they,
Yeah, the train, got the train done. The last week before I left, it's a bit of a blur, except I spent a lot of time with the Region 4B consultant, finishing up a lot of deliverables, stuff that had to be done. Because of the storms that we had, we canceled the emergency dispensing site as a vaccine emergency dispensing site drill. And we used the shelter drill as a dispensing site for dispensing food, cots, blankets, that sort of thing, and we wrote it up that way. And I'll get you a copy of that. So we did use things that were problems and things that need to be improved and things of that nature. So, I mean, it was still a learning experience, and nothing like a little reality either. Learn a lot. So, and I've been asked to do a presentation for the Region 4B at their next meeting, and I guess South Shore Hospital's having a shelter seminar, and has asked for representatives to be on the piano. And Ms. Vincenzi says that I can participate for that. seem to be shelter experts all of a sudden, Chief Judge and I, but. Wee. So the only real thing onto the agenda tonight, other than remind you about town meeting tomorrow night, there is some speculation that since we reduced from 42 to 28 articles, he may try and cram them all in tomorrow night.
Oh, the original was 42?
Yeah, I think so. So, you know, it may or may not, but the,
Gonna be a late night, no matter what.
yeah, and the citizen articles, of which the turbine is one, would be one of the last articles.
Yeah.
So it's the bitter end. It's possible, however, they could move to take it out of,
Order.
yes, thank you, out of order. And there's also a possibility they may move to put money in our budget to fund the additional study or something. I still haven't read the article. It may be just to shut it down, at which point we would need more money, so. But if they wanted more studies done, then there may be a move to put more money into the budget or independently fund that. I'm not sure. And the book hadn't come out when I had left, and I know it came out last week, so, you know, it's here. I just haven't read it, you know, the first day back.
It doesn't know, so I can get you all a copy after you've read.
Okay.
So. The protocol that we're going to review tonight is what would be sent to DEP for review, for meeting their protocol for
Yeah,
testing.
we'll discuss that in a couple of minutes.
So-
Wait on that.
Yeah.
We would not have the final say on this.
Yeah, we'll hold for a couple of minutes. Kind of in our realm, but not in our realm. I had the pleasure of taking out the state today to do water sampling in the North and South River.
Where are they sampled?
They sample up by, they start about Newport Street in Hummerock, and then we work our way down Central Avenue, and we do a few test sites at the mouth,
Why don't you keep that?
and then we work our way up the North River, and we go as far as the 3A bridge. And she basically takes a bottle and dips it in the water about 3 feet, takes a temperature reading and caps it and puts it in a cooler.
Yeah.
And it's very quick. It's just we motor right along and stop for not even a minute.
Yeah, so how?
What were the temperatures?
About 42, 43.
Ooh, yeah,
And
it's a little
it was high
colder than I
tide, and
thought.
it was green ocean water. It's the first time in like 2 months I've seen it. Like,
Green.
Green, yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to change. Are they going to be doing this more than that, or?
I think the gal mentioned to me they missed because of a lot of bad weather, so they may double up on the testing, and they do it as far as the clamming season's open to ensure there's no red tide or
Oh, okay.
epoli or anything of that nature.
All right, so it's Marine Fisheries is
Yes.
doing testing? Okay, yeah. Yeah, they're out of, what, Sandwich, I think?
Thought she said New Bedford, yeah, but it could be. They might have
Well,
other
it may-
offices.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they've consolidated or not, but it used to be, I think, Sandwich. The guy I used to do, well, 3 guys now.
So we had a little talk about sand hills and water sampling and different stuff of that
Yeah,
nature, so.
yeah.
It was a nice experience, and it's always a pleasure to meet new people and get different ideas on things from a different angle, so.
Yeah, yeah.
We can bring that information
How bad
back
is
to
the erosion out by the spit? I heard it was substantial.
Unbelievable. It's historic. It really is. I would say that spit's moved 100 feet west. And the high part of it is, portions of it have just been leveled. So the beach itself, even on the Fourth Cliff side, in areas, acre, 2 acres, it just dropped like 3 feet and now go underwater at high tide, when normally they were not. So at high tide on the spit itself at Rivermore, very little beach left, very little. It's mostly just dune and then kind of
And then
tapers
water.
down, yeah. Yeah,
And that just
at high
feeds- and that
tide.
just feeds on itself, that will just keep going at that point.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, it might build itself back a little bit, but that was a hit. It just 2 big storms in 2 months, just devastating, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to people in Glades, and they said that the Sunday high tide in the last storm is the one that did the most damage for them. Even though we were, so,
Yeah, it'll take a little while for Mother Nature to repair, but things are definitely moving, changing, yeah.
yeah. Well, I know when they plow the streets down there, those piles are high, so we're trying to climb over them.
Yeah, down on Central Avenue.
Yeah, yeah. Huge.
Yeah, time will tell, but like I say, they've been talking about that since the mouth broke through in 1898, that it's gonna come through somewhere else, change, so.
My copy of this article seems to be missing pages. It doesn't read.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Do you have it in some,
Yeah, I'll show you.
email it to me?
No, but I can scan it and email it.
Okay.
This is my, the one journal I get, the Journal of Environmental Health.
The what?
The Journal of Environmental Health.
Yeah, no, it's a good journal.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very familiar with it.
Yeah, I belong, and I've been getting it for 15 years. And a friend of mine called while I was on vacation and told Mary, did she get it? Did she get it? Because if she didn't get it, I'll save mine. Because we've been discussing the challenges.
Geez, you're dedicated, your vacation, you're talking business.
Well, you know.
It's just your life.
It's, I knew that Mary was gonna have to set the agenda, and I stayed till 3 o'clock the Friday before, finishing up paperwork that I left for Mary, so of course I was gonna talk to Mary and, you know, see if she had any problems and see if there's anything with the agenda that needed doing. And for a while, my mother was keeping me on a schedule where every time I thought to call her, it was the wrong time. Finally, I said, today, now is when I'm doing it. So I'm driving down the road in the rain, talking on the phone when I probably shouldn't have been, but it was getting near the end of the day, and I probably wasn't going to get home until after time. So I definitely wanted to touch base.
All right, 1 minute and we'll make it official. How was the weather down in Florida?
Much better this time. It was mostly in the 80s. I
Nice.
actually got to the beach for hours, a couple hours, 2 days. But did you give them a copy of that letter? Or is that in the folder for them to look at, or what? They came in today?
Oh, from Mrs. Logan?
No.
Did I get a copy of this?
The one from,
I think I had something in here, but
Lisa?
I think I read one of
No,
those.
the one in the
that came
envelope.
through the interview.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you got a
No.
copy? Okay, and then you
All
referred
right,
back and read the
well-
other one.
Right.
Just scan and email that to them, too.
All right, I think we're there. 7:20 PM, discussion, sound monitoring protocol for the Scituate wind turbine submitted by Scituate Wind. And that would be this document here dated
Yep.
April 2013. I read through it. I'm not an expert. I've learned a little bit here in the past couple of months, but I don't know if you guys have read through it, if there's any comment or not. Or if you have any comment, Jennifer, I'd love to
Yeah,
put it on the table.
I have one comment that, I remember in the beginning, the community group was interested in having a more rapid sampling than the 1 second, and the interest in seeing what the actual numbers were before the averaging. So I would suggest that we request a copy of the data showing the single testing responses before the averaging's done, just so that's available.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
The more data, the better.
Exactly, I mean, it'll show if there's a spike at some point or not, because the weighted average is what the DEP is looking for, but if you look at the data, you'll see if there's any, peaks that,
So could you add a sentence to this and tell them
yeah, I mean,
to include that? And I take it this is submitted to the DEP,
yeah.
and they're looking at it now?
No, it hasn't been, but because we want to have the board look at it first.
Oh, okay.
But,
Fair enough.
it's not, the only thing they will be doing is asking them just to attach the, record of their data, so.
Okay, will you come up with the language for that?
Oh, certainly. I will send it to Gordon, because Gordon had them on standby for today to come down, but it was going to be a rather expensive trip for not a lot of time other than travel, so,
Yeah, I don't think that was necessary at all. I think you did the right thing.
and I said that, if we had any questions or things, whether we would be in touch by phone or email, certainly, so he was satisfied with that.
There was something in one of these drafts about the two adjoining properties or across the street properties. And I just,
Well, there's one, they're the two on Gilson, right?
yeah, on Gilson.
Right. Did they take that out? Because when we did the...
Right, that's what where they were gonna turn it off, or, no, I think they're still in there, both in there.
They're both still in there. I saw them both still in there. I think they brought that up, like, why,
Yeah, like
and at that
one-
last meeting, we explained to them.
122 and 127 would be on opposite sides of the
Right.
road.
Right,
That was-
right. One was Oceanside, one's more on
But
the...
there was something I saw where they said that if they got certain results on one, that they would stop monitoring the other one, which I did not think was a good idea.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
But it might not be in this version.
No, I think I saw that too. Just a question of finding it. Why is it when you want to find something,
I know.
you can't? Tech has already gotten approval to set up at all the residences.
Yeah, that was good to read.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, I mean, I guess we're all in agreement that it should be tested fully no matter what, so I mean, if it's in here,
I don't see it, so it might have been
might have been
a
removed.
different draft.
There's some asterisk under this little chart about 122 Gilsey being eliminated or something.
It was in the text.
Page 3.
I see what you're saying, the asterisk on page 3 underneath the chart. This location is directly across the street from ML3 and is 160 feet further away from the wind turbine. The sound levels from the
Oh, yeah,
turbine
yeah.
should be lower
Thank you.
than the
Good
ML3.
catch, Mary.
Yeah.
That must have been what I read.
Okay,
And could be eliminated after the first round of testing at this location.
I would say we'll eliminate that as well.
Right. I agree.
Okay, so it's,
Because we're more interested in the ocean, not noise affecting that.
right, so we'll strike that whole asterisk
Okay.
on page 3.
That's why we didn't find it. It was in an asterisk. Staring at us.
And you've talked to DEP, so somebody's already aware that this is coming and they know our need for a quick return on
Well,
it.
no, but when they would talk to them about it before, they said they felt they could turn it around,
They understood where we were coming from, yeah, to get it in and
you know,
back around.
quickly, if
Yeah.
we, you know, and the fact that they've worked with this group before, I think will be a big help.
I think the last time we asked them, they came right back within a couple of days. It was great.
Now let it back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, that worked out great at the state level, so I wouldn't see any reason why they wouldn't perform as well this time. Like I say, at this point with those changes, is there any other comments?
No, I think it's pretty well laid out. I'd be interested if DEP has any comments.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're the ones, we have to follow their protocol, so that'll be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, now, do you want a draft of the report reviewed with us before the final, or you just want the final submittal?
I think with the limited changes we made, unless corrected, I think you're fine. We only had really 2 changes.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, the draft of the final report.
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss that with them before it's finalized, or do you just want to accept the final report?
To me, I don't care as long as we get a discussion session with them at some point.
Okay,
You know, if there's a need to have a discussion before they finalize their report from their point of view, that's fine with me. You know, if as points of clarification, I'm not sure that that's going to be necessary. And if they don't think that it is, I'm happy to say, you know, issue your report and then come in and let's have a discussion about what it means.
okay.
Answer the questions. That would be my view.
Yeah, I think we should just take their final report and discuss it.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, well,
For the record, I'm gonna ask, anybody in the audience have any input? Seeing none, then okay,
all
for the
right.
record.
So,
No
you know,
input from the-
I will just include that we want a discussion with the contractor and Scituate Wind on the final report.
Yeah. I asked him, he said he would come.
Yeah, right, so we'll just include that with the other two changes, and then then we're good to go. Okay,
Good. Perfect. We got a plan?
okay.
That'll conclude the 7:20 PM discussion of the sound monitoring protocol. We discussed old business, there was no other old business,
See you tomorrow
no
at
new
town meeting.
business. Next meeting, Monday, April 22nd, 2013, are there any issues with that meeting date? No?
Not yet.
Okay,
Oh, true.
yeah. There you go. Meeting adjourned.